So we're sitting in your home studio here. For most people, having a studio in their garden is like it's kind of a dream. Like most people, you like it's something that you would like. A lot of producers would dream about daily. How did it come about?
Right, I've always wanted a studio. Always wanted. I mean, 20, 25, 30, even 30 years ago, it was like a dream. And then I thought I could have this dream if I turned it into a business. So I drew up a business plan that took me about a year. And then when I really tried to put it together, I realized it was going to cost far too much money. So it was a useful exercise. But in those days, it worked out it was going to cost somewhere between £25,000 and £50,000 if I wanted a proper commercial studio.
Yeah.
And we're still talking about reel to reel then, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I've always had a portrait studio of some sort, and I've always been interested in recording. And as time went by, you know, I mean, I'm completely self-taught, but I mean, if you're interested in something enough, you'll find out everything that you need to find out about it through books or friends or whatever. So I've always been in about the recording, and as years went by, I got better at it, of course. You start accumulating bits and pieces of gear that other people don't have, so they come to you and you do jobs for other people. And then as time went by, I started charging for those skills, so I started recording albums for people locally. I mean, it was always very moderate, you know, but it was at least it was enough to cover the time that I was committing to their project. And I've always been interested in recording my own stuff. Of course, for a lot of years, I wrote my own songs, and I really liked the process of recording where you get to try out ideas and, you know, try that extra guitar part or play around with the bass. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I find
realizing how you know, like just changing the bass part can completely change the way a song feels. So I have enjoyed all that. So the studio thing has always been, I suppose for a while there I thought, yeah, commercial studio, I could do this for a living. I love it so much. But actually now where I'm at now, it's really so I can carry on doing what I love the most, which is hanging out with my friends, playing music, recording, and just that whole world. So anyway, I realized a long time ago that the space that you record in is very, very important. I mean, you can basically say it's an instrument. Your room is an instrument. It has a profound effect on everything that you record. Now, if you record an album in a bad room, and you've got 20 odd takes of stuff, you know, you're multiplying that problem 20 times. You know, and you don't really know what it is. What happens is you've got an excellent performance out of all the guys in the band, and it's all cooking. You know, you start mixing it, and you just can't get it to sit right, and you end up taking loads of EQ out of this and that, and you're just fighting with the mix. And I've been there so many times, and to realize that really, actually, it's the room. The room's so important. So I went to a lot of trouble, as you can see, to try and get this as accurate as possible. And some of it I've built myself, designed myself, I should say. I've got some acoustic panels, and I'm really pleased with the result in here. And I think it's a great place to start. I personally haven't done much recording in here yet, but that's because I've been too busy doing other things. But there's other people
But it sounded great on the recordings that have come out here.
Yeah, I mean, Nomadia recorded their album in here. Quintana did some stuff in here. The Truckers are in the process of doing some stuff in here. They've done all their drums and stuff. And I'm really pleased that it's being used. I suppose what I'm looking for out of it, I want to be in a position where I can switch on the studio and really be able to record anything that's going on very quickly within, you know, half an hour, less, you know. I think that'd be really good, and create a kind of an environment where you can just fire things out really quickly. I think once people see what's going on here, it'll encourage them to look at it themselves and maybe make some of their own spaces a bit more functional, because you don't need to do an awful lot. But it's definitely important. I think, like, if you're working with contemporary music, like rock guitars, drums and stuff like that, the space that you're practicing can become so noisy that it starts taking away from the pleasure of it.
And it also affects how you're playing.
Yeah.
It affects how the music sounds. You're going to be, like, I think a lot of garage bands are so noisy, right? Because they're both just trying to fight over each other. Like, back guitarists just try to fight to make their own instrument be able to be heard next to them.
Yeah. Whereas in here, I think there's really is a lot of separation because it's just so damn late. I mean, even the drums, you know, it's manageable, like no bother at all. So
is there anything else you'd like to add before we close up?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was just thinking about there's lots of good ideas going around, like what I was saying about, you know, growing our own food, being more self-sufficient, and we were talking about the studio and how it's, you know, a nice and creative space and stuff like that. But there's other issues as well, like economy and money and making a living and stuff like that. And I think, like, for me, I mean, I make a living out of teaching and not so much playing the guitar now, but doing a bit of studio work and all that. It's not a big living, and it doesn't have to be, because I'm really into it because I enjoy doing it. But you know, that's the one that is. It's the deal breaker, isn't it? You know, it's like if you really enjoy something, then you'll do it for less. You know.
Mm-hmm. So then you're saying, how do you build up?
So well, how do you do it? So I think,
industry?
yeah, I think like it's important that people get paid for what they do. It doesn't have to be a huge amount, but I think like there's ways of doing things. I think you have to be, if you're going to charge a lot of money, you have to be extremely professional. You have to turn up on time, and you need to know what you're doing. You know, but there's lots of people in this other area. It's kind of, they're not really professional. They're doing it as a kind of a hobby, but they're quite good at it, and they're getting better all the time. And I think there's room for all that, and it's a sliding scale. I think for musicians as well, I think musicians out playing, I think it's important that they get paid for what they do. Again, it doesn't have to be a huge amount of money, but there are times when it can be a massive amount. If it's a special occasion, they should be, you know, they should be rewarded for it, because they got lots of people together in one space and give them a really good time. Whoa, oh, oh.